Hi, I'm Hutton, a casting producer, entrepreneur, and a mom of two. My life is a mix of building businesses, raising little humans, and figuring it out as I go. This podcast is where we talk about the real side of that: business, healing, motherhood, and becoming the woman that you are meant to be. This is Her Soft Power. Hi, Sarah. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
This is a unique episode today on Her Soft Power because we are doing an in-person interview, which I haven't done before. So this is our first. So thank you so much for joining me here at my house.
Thank you for being flexible and offering this. I'm excited.
Yes, of course. So I want to introduce you guys and how we met. Sarah also goes by Joy. Sarah, she runs her own company called Joyful Creations, and we'll get into a little bit about that. I'll let you actually tell more about it, but I wanted to mention how we met. We met at the She Is Worthy event by Chantel. So the first one we met at was the Thanksgiving Sisters Giving, and we just clicked right away. We hit it off, and so we met for coffee and at the cutest little place too. Yes, the nursery, and we had such a nice little walk around and just so much to share about each other. And I wanted to bring her on the show to then share her journey and what she's been through. And so I will let you do your own little introduction.
Well, thank you. I'm just so honored to be here and on your podcast. It's just very humble experience that you even asked me to be part of it. So yeah, I'm Sarah, also known as Joy. I have my own business called Joyful Creations, and it's marketing and events. So I market all the way from like social media to websites, a lot of outreach, and then I incorporate events in it. So like different pop-up community events. I work with sometimes clientels that are authors, so we do like book signings, and now I even do like weddings and those type of big events as well. So very diverse in what I offer and what I help with. But yeah, that's my business. Besides my business, I am a two-time cancer survivor. I am also an angel mom. I'm a wife. We're going on about 4 years together, total of like 10. And I live in Moore Park. Just all that nitty little small stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we connected on so much of that. Your journey and what you've been through, and how you're building something really magnetic from the kind of things, the grief and the pain that you've been through. You're also growing through. And so that's kind of what Her Self Power is about. And so, yeah, I wanted to ask you sort of how the journey began into, marketing, but I know that I know a little bit journey. So you tell me where you want to, I guess, start from.
Yeah. Well, for my story, I feel like there's so many just turning points, so many layers to it. But I feel like it always kind of falls back in my first like health diagnosis when I was like 14 years old. Because that's when like trauma became very real and like permanent. Like it wasn't just like one time event and then disappeared. It was like you're diagnosed with this. Now you need to take this medication, this treatment, and it prolonged. So at age 14, I was diagnosed with cancer of the esophagus. And it's very rare for a young female to be even given that diagnosis of that cancer. Um, Not going so much in the backstory of it, but just age 14, high school years, I totally didn't get like the norm experience at all. I was on like homeschool, home hospital, all these programs. And even the high school was like, they've never dealt with like a student that had that at that time.
Right.
So they even were trying to like event things that weren't quite structured quite yet for that diagnosis. Yeah. So it was a whole journey.
Yeah.
So going through that, you're 14,
Yeah.
you don't even know who you are yet, like the identity crisis that we teenage girls go through and all that, plus that layer of like, you have cancer.
Yeah,
like your whole
really
life.
knows time to be a kid and
Exactly.
just truly enjoy the moment
Yeah.
because you're constantly thinking about what if and you know the worst case scenario.
Oh,
So,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah. Especially when you hear like doctors after doctors not giving you good news, and then the amount of pain that you're in, the losing of the hair, like all those side effects, things like that. So I would say going through that journey definitely was like the first transformation piece in my life. So I went through it at age 14 is when it started. It didn't end around age 18. So I took long. So there wasn't
times at least of the first bout that you had.
exactly.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So it did that. And then I felt like I had to grow up really quick
Yeah,
through that.
go real quick. And then how was that for you? Like, I mean, socially, academically, like those kinds of things,
Oh yeah.
so different. I'm sure.
So different.
Yeah.
It's like, I tried my best to still be involved in school. Like
Mhm.
there's a many times where I was like, let me just try to go back to class. And I would for like months period, but then I'm like, I can't do it. Like I just it's really sick and I'm sick, you're nauseous, just all this stuff. It made it 10 times harder. And then academically was definitely like I try to do my best, like when
Yeah.
I'm in my hospital bed or like in my bed. I had teachers that were so gracious enough to even like come to my house and like teach me because like they just had good hearts. And then, I had the other scenario too where other teachers were like, well, I don't know. Like they didn't
Right.
want to meet in the middle. Yeah. So you get the best of both, all of it a learning.
And you grew up out here or no? Okay.
Yes. In Moore Park. Yeah.
Okay, you did.
Always lived in Moore Park. Yeah.
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 Yeah, because I grew up out here too, Woodland Hills, but
Okay. Yeah.
that's worth now.
The
So
area.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Los Angeles folks.
Exactly. Yes.
The different little valleys. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're tight knit communities. So it's interesting to hear how your community probably pulled together too.
So that's also another interesting piece of
Yeah.
it too. So when I was diagnosed with cancer, it wasn't given of like, oh, it's cancer. It was given as it's a bad cell.
Oh, right. I remember you said something like
Yeah. So it was kind of like, well, what do you mean? What is
you didn't
that?
know what you had.
Didn't know what I had at
Oh
first.
my goodness.
And it took my mom to really like, fight and like get those answers and go to different doctors and confirm. But it was something too that we weren't really loud about in my family either, just because I was kind of brought up in like just family dynamics that were just like, keep it quiet, like we'll handle it.
Mhm.
We got this. We don't need the outside really to know. And that's something that I wish we did differently because community is important,
Especially in a time
especially
like this. Yeah.
exactly. And so that also was something that was different compared to other stories that I've seen
Yeah.
a lot. Community does pull through and it's vital.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think as I grew older, I was definitely more spoken
Yeah.
about this journey and what I went through and things like that.
How did that change for you? Like, how did you become more, I guess, vocal? And even how you said your mom was kind of advocating for you, which is an important thing to have somebody like that because they've dealt with some family members who've gone through it themselves, but might not have had the best representatives for them. So
Yeah,
it's very important. And
it's definitely
yeah.
necessary.
So how did you guys find kind of your voice through this?
My mom always was a fighter. Like I was raised by a single mama. She
Mhm.
had me young. I was her pride and joy. So, as a mom, I'm sure like when you see your kids and they're hurting,
Yeah.
you're gonna do whatever it takes to like help them get better. So my mom, she was just like on a mission and having an advocate is just so necessary, especially during health issues. And that actually kind of what inspired my career journey. And we'll probably get into that a little bit too.
Yeah, well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
working in like the hospitals as a child life in that department,
Yes.
they're advocates. They're basically like the middle person.
Right.
They use play therapy, and different, just educating the families and the children who's going through whatever diagnosis, to just have them have somewhat of a calm and what could be normal environment in a very scary and
Right.
not normal environment.
Yeah.
So that's what inspired me to go into that. And I did. I worked in the child life and then pivoted in life and now doing my own business. But to go back to your original question, yeah, my mom, she definitely was an advocate. Finding our voice, I think it just took a lot of like trial and error as well too,
Yeah.
of like what feels comfortable for us in this moment. Like,
Yeah.
is it going and talking about it to our neighbors or to our Bible study, asking for prayer, things like that. I think it also helped us like step into those areas because they're not
Yeah.
comfortable, at
Yeah.
first. It's kind of like,
Absolutely.
what am I doing? I wasn't taught to do this.
Right.
So definitely that even pushed me going through that journey and be uncomfortable, like
Yeah.
embrace that. Um, because it's also just part of the whole process
Yeah.
to go for that. Yeah.
So you didn't grow up with going to church and all that anymore,
So
or did you?
I did,
Okay.
yes. So I did.
I remember you said a little bit about.
Yeah, faith has always been
Okay.
very just embodied into me.
Yeah.
I think, though, definitely where I'm at now with my relationship with God is so much more deeper and just understanding than where I was at that time.
Yeah.
I definitely think like my family, we grew up being kind of Catholic at
Yeah.
first and then transitioned into Christianity.
Yeah.
Um, but even then, it was kind of just like, we go to church and,
Right.
um, you pray, um, you worship, listen to worship music. But it wasn't kind of like an intimate relationship with God.
Yeah.
Like he wants to be your friend, like you can talk to him how we're talking.
Right.
Like there wasn't that piece of it entirely. So going through these situations definitely pushed me even closer of like, I need my faith to even just get through this moment, get through this day. So that definitely is a big part of just who I am.
Yeah, I love that too because I relate to that a lot. I lost several people, a couple to cancer, unfortunately, but and the grief from that, it just was very hard, and
Yes.
that led me to seeking uncomfortable things like the church and
Yeah.
life group and just community. And so,
Yeah.
and that's been life changing too for me. So, and similar, my mom, was more in the Catholic Church, but we didn't quite, go every Sunday. It was more like holidays and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now it's part of our family, and with our kids, we want to make that, just know what the word is. I was looking ritual, but it's your habit. Yeah, your weekly. Yeah,
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 of course. I think that's so beautiful.
yeah,
And you mentioned something too about like the grief.
yeah,
Like even after the cancer journey, like that's the one piece too with like cancer survivors is that they don't really talk so much about the aftermath.
right,
Like there's a whole other stage that like, because you don't think you're going to get through it.
right,
Like that's the reality of it. Doctors are like slim chances, like you're being fed all these noises. And they're based off of the charts and everything. But when you do survive it and they're like, you're in remission now, things like that, you don't really, it's not something, and every cancer survivor does it differently, like
sure,
every journey is different, but it takes a while to sink that in and then kind of ask yourself, like, well, now what? Because that was like so much of my identity,
right,
So now it's a complete other journey that you're like, okay, so I'm not gonna die, right
You know,
now.
almost also thinking of the years that I missed or
Yeah.
like those kinds of things come
Yeah.
up, I'm sure
The
too.
the
Yeah.
grief part of
Yeah.
it, of just like the mourning of like what could
What's
have
next?
and then like now I actually have the opportunity to plan
Yeah.
and being kind of afraid of even doing so because of how long you've been in that other journey. So it's a whole different just perspective
Yeah.
of life. And there's so many stories like in that just the cancer kind of community of just everyone, they process it differently.
Yeah.
And they're all just warriors of
Yeah.
how you're able to get out of something that traumatic that just impacts everything in your
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
How long between both, did you go into remission and then you were diagnosed again? How did that time?
Yeah. So that timeline, so 14 was the first diagnosis.
Yeah.
And then around um I would say like 16 and a half is when remission on the first one, but then they found the other cancer, which is in my stomach. It was all digestive.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all digestive, which was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask about
Yeah, it
go
was,
ahead.
yeah, very interesting. Um, so yeah, then 17 and a half, um, the stomach cancer, they're like the mass that they found and kind of left there. They were like, oh, it grew. We need to remove it. And so I went through surgery for that. And they removed it. And thankfully, I didn't have to do any like chemo or anything
Oh,
like that. So that was successful
yeah.
with just the surgery. So yeah, it was, wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask that you mentioned digestive, but what kind of like lifestyle changes did you make or have to make, I guess, because of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were so many, especially like food.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of how we cook in my family is a lot of like just tomatoes, like a lot of spices, chilies, things like that. That completely went out of the table. Like, had to change all of our recipes. And that was hard
Yeah.
for my family because, we have our home traditions and our home cooking meals. And so learning a new way of like doing research of like, well, what can we use to substitute this? And like, what could help?
Yeah.
For a good while, I couldn't even eat like solid foods. Like it was mostly just like liquid diets.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time I didn't even want to eat because I just was in so much pain. Like
Yeah.
I would sleep constantly and just like I was a skeleton. Like I barely had any weight. And I've always been petite.
Yeah. You're very
So
sweet.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
always been petite, but more so
Wow.
going through that.
Yeah.
So yeah, diet was one. Um, Movement definitely had to be incorporated. It was really hard
Yeah.
because before I got diagnosed, I loved to dance
Mm.
and I loved to sing. And I couldn't do so
Oh,
because
that's right.
it's connected to the vocal cords. So even to this day, I can't sing the way that I used to. And that's something that I had to like mourn and process as well too.
Yeah, it's a big grief. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dance, I was able to find a love, the style, flamenco, which is a Spaniard dance. And I was able to still like incorporate and do some of that when I was sick.
Oh,
And that actually led me to my very first job, which was a dance teacher.
oh wow. That's
Yes,
fun. Yeah,
yeah.
that's so cool.
So I did that once I got like cancer free and was able to like go into like a normal, somewhat life. Yeah.
That must have been totally different
Oh,
too,
yeah.
because you went from being
Yes.
sick to now moving.
Exactly. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes. That was very fun. Um, and so yeah, the diet was definitely a hard one. Food, because I love food. And
Yeah.
it was like all digestive and it's like, oh, okay, I can't have this. I can't have. So
Yeah.
there was very a lot of hard moments with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You mentioned that you went into the healthcare.
Mhm.
And so go ahead and share a little bit about how you
Yeah.
decided, start that. And from dancing, dance instructing, how did you
Yeah.
segue?
So I've always had in my heart the hospitals. Like even when I was going through the cancer in high school, like I always was like, you know what, if I get out of this and like make it, like what would I do? So I always kind of still had a hope for the future, and that's where like my faith definitely came in. So that always was on my heart of like
Yeah.
working in the hospitals. And it was mainly as the child life department, because it's not a popular field. A lot of hospitals don't really have it. Now it's kind of making more of a trend and they're realizing how important it is.
Yeah.
And so they're incorporating that. But yeah, so that's, yeah, it's
Yeah.
really good.
And it's because it's more common.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
So yeah, I've always had that on the back of my mind, as well as my great grandma. She was a very positive influence when it came to just like teaching. She was a teacher back in the days where there was just like, the Perry schoolhouses and all that type of, yeah, and she didn't share much of her story either with many people. But she shared that piece of how like she was a school teacher and she always wanted another teacher in the family. And so I'm like, oh, well, I'll be another teacher because I was very big on just making my family proud. That was something that was
absolutely.
embedded in me. So I kind of went down that route of like teaching.
Okay.
And then it like linked in with the hospital because when you're there, you're also kind of teaching the families and the children and things like that. So it all somehow connected. The dancing job was just something that was kind of like a stepping stone
Yeah.
to get to where it's at. So I went from dance teacher to preschool teacher, and then I made it up to the working at the children's hospital.
Wow.
So,
I love that. Okay.
yeah.
That's amazing. And then, so I know a little bit more, but tell me about how that led to, you know,
Yeah. So
next journey.
it's always a journey. Like it's a journey. So I got there. I worked for about 2 years at Children's Hospital. And I thought this was it. I made it to where I wanted to be. And I did enjoy every minute of it. I worked in the child life, and then after they kind of moved me to events. So I did like the fundraising and bringing like prom to the kids. It was an amazing experience.
Yeah. Really fun too.
Yeah.
Or in that sector, I'm sure.
Exactly. Yes. And
Meaningful.
exactly.
Yeah.
Meaningful, definitely. And it's connected to with like how I do events now,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm sure it led into.
It did, yeah. So a little side note, I've always done kind of like events on the side, but it was just like a hobby or just like something I enjoyed bringing people together.
Yeah.
I never thought of it as a career. And then so I stayed at the hospital, but then I went through some more health issues and a health scare. And it wasn't the first health scare that I've gone through. But it was a health scare that also kind of involved me being pregnant, and I didn't know at the time, and I lost my child. So going through um, that was a whole journey of itself of just, losing your child, not knowing you're pregnant. And I always was under the belief that I couldn't have kids.
Right.
So even that layer was like, oh, okay.
How
Yeah.
did this happen? First of all.
Yeah. A lot of questions.
Yeah.
A lot of questions and a lot of like, oh, okay. Here's something else that I have to endure. So I definitely tried to stay as long as I could, try to find avenues, different ways. But it was one of those things that you can't force. And that's been something very big on my life that I'm like, alignment.
Yeah.
Alignment is so needed for a soft just that soft power.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was no longer aligning.
Yeah.
And that was something that I had to really like face in the mirror and just be like, which is hard because I'm like, this was what I was working towards,
Yeah.
even when I was like really sick and didn't think I was gonna make it. Like, this was the end goal for me.
Yeah.
And I really came to terms of like, sometimes God will give you everything you dream of just for you to learn that He has more for you.
Mhm.
And that was my scenario. And don't get me wrong. Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
So good.
Don't get me wrong. I am still human. There's moments where I'm like, I miss it sometimes.
Yeah.
But then I just see all that, the abundance that is coming where I'm at in my life
Yeah.
and just the blessings that I'm like, I didn't even like go to school entirely for this. And yet the business is blossoming or I'm meeting wonderful connections like how we met, like it's aligned. And
Yeah.
I'm not forcing it at all. And so yeah, that's kind of like a big answer to the
Yes,
question.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. No.
How it all works. Yeah.
Yeah. Really amazing story. I know you shortened it.
I know. Yeah.
Recapped it. Yes.
Yes.
Um, but of course, I want to break it down a little bit and, talk a little bit about, what you went through
Yeah.
also. And, I know you're married, so we just want to touch on maybe how you and your husband dealt with some of those
Yeah.
scares and losing a baby.
Yeah.
And where you're at now too.
Yeah.
How that yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for both of us, I think me and my husband, we both had our own way of processing it. For me, it was a lot of shock, and a lot of kind of disbelief at first of what I went through. Um, just because it, if I would have faced it right then and there, the awakening would have happened quicker. Meaning, as like, I never gave myself a choice of like, oh, I want kids.
Right.
Like I didn't think about that. Like, even as a little girl, I know sometimes, that's a dream that we have. That was not my dream. My
Yeah.
dream was like, work and be independent,
Yeah.
travel. Like, it was totally
Totally
different.
different, yeah.
Yeah. And so when I went through that, um, it really was another identity shift.
Yeah.
A little bit of
Yeah.
realizing like, oh, I want to have kids,
Right.
but I never gave myself the freedom to ask that.
Yeah.
And because I took in the doctors, the medical of just like, no, you can't have kids. It's gonna be very painful. I put fear, I associated fear with it. And so I didn't even give it room. So my husband, he knew that right off too. Like my health issues, he's always been like my rock and like God bless him because like he's seen me through the worst of it, like the vow in sickness and in health.
Yeah.
That is literally what we've experienced already. Um, and so it's very important to have a partner that like supports you and all that. But yeah, there is a lot of, the stages of grief,
Yeah.
the anger, the denial, all of that. And then comes also not just what you and your partner is going through, but also kind of family dynamics
Yeah.
of other people. And that can weigh heavy too.
Yeah.
And so really had to navigate the boundaries
Yeah.
and just kind of say, you know what, we need space right now. Um, we want to talk about it. For me, as I was processing it more and going through those motions, um, I definitely finally came to terms of that, like, yes, I do want a child. I do want to be a mom. And that I am a mom, even though my child isn't physically here with me.
Yeah.
I'm just an angel mom.
Mm.
Um, and so it was very important for me to honor
Yeah.
that child's life. And so I, to this day, find creative ways to honor,
Good.
just because that's important. And I think everyone has their own way of doing that and totally understand. But it definitely is something that is kind of considered like taboo.
Yeah.
And like women, like, it's hard to talk.
It's hard to talk about.
Yeah.
I even feel like I shouldn't have asked this.
Oh, no, don't.
Right, like maybe I shouldn't have, but at the same time, I'm like you said, it's taboo and it's something that we do need to talk about, or like it is healthy for you to also like talk about it and like honor your baby,
Exactly.
not just erase.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm a
Like
big
our
advocate when it comes to
ancestors have done. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yes.
yeah, no, we're breaking that.
Yeah.
We're bringing awareness to it
Yeah.
because uh, this is something that they tell you when it happens of like, oh, it's so common, like the statistics.
And now is it common because of all the poisons?
Right. Yeah. Which is a whole other, right?
It's so hard. It's going through here. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And so, when you hear that, like, oh, it's so common, for me, it like infuriated me. Like, why? This should not be so common, you know? And so I kind of went down a rabbit hole of like finding nonprofits, finding women who share their stories, women that are trying to make an impact in that area because we need each other.
Yeah.
Now we go through that. And so yeah, me and my husband, we've definitely came a while and it's still a process. Like when we lost our child, it was the end of 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks so fresh. So fresh.
Yeah. 2025. Oh, thank you. 2025, we like celebrated the birthday, which she would have been one. So yeah, we think we're learning as we're going of like what fits well for us. Like what makes sense right now. And also kind of me as a wife, giving him space of like learning how to navigate that as a man and a husband. Like it doesn't look the same as mine.
Sure.
At all. And me not being like, oh well, you should do this, like not being the controlling aspect. I'm just giving him that space.
It's on his terms too.
Exactly. Yeah. And
but I see in your face like you have hope for the future with you too.
yeah, my hope definitely as moving forward, it's even if I adopt, like that's something too that
there's so many ways now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it definitely made us,
strong.
Yeah,
we imagine.
Yes. Yeah. We've had moments that, we both needed our space and stuff like that, but that's part of the marriage. Yeah.
It's marriage.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Been through a lot in such a short, time. I think we're still so young.
Oh yeah, definitely. What I always think is just everyone has a story.
Yeah. Exactly.
So like all that trauma, all those experiences that you go through, like you have a choice. You can turn it into purpose and beauty and move with it, or you can let it consume you and leave you kind of stuck. And I'd rather do the latter.
Yeah. Keep moving.
Yeah, keep moving because I know how it is to feel stuck. When you're sick to that extent, when you go through a loss of someone, there's all these things that they're like, oh, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, but you don't feel like doing it because you're not well. So now that I have a little bit more taste of freedom, it's like, well, I'm gonna embrace that as much as I can because I know how it feels not to have it. So yeah.
Do you still feel any pain today, like from anything?
I do still go through like health issues. Yeah. And that's only because of just other health issues, like secondary issues that happen because of the cancer or even just after due to like the COVID stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
COVID, that's a big thing too.
That was, yeah.
And we didn't really actually go into how you started your own business.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I was about to like close on. I'm like, wait a minute. We didn't even touch
There's so much story here. Yeah.
yeah, because you have so many things, so many different, and that's not even, that's only the later half of your life. When you think about, like,
Yeah.
you're still 14 years in the beginning, but
Right? Oh, no.
we'll
I read
save
the
those.
book. Yeah.
We'll save those from the book.
Yes. But yeah, my business. So when I went through at the hospital and realized that it just wasn't aligning,
Yeah.
I asked myself that big question of like, well, what do I do next? Like, do I go back to teaching? Like, what do I do? Um, and it was actually to the thanks of one of who I work with now with like a partnership. She's a publisher, and she's like, "Well, why don't you turn this into full time?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, you already helped me with the marketing. We can get you more clients. Like, you can expand." And I'm like, "Never thought about that."
Yeah.
So it took her to plant that seed in me, and I've been going since then. So last year was kind of the big jump where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna step into this.
Yeah.
Like have that conversation with my hubby of like, do you think we can make it work? Because you have to also take in the logistics, the
Yeah.
finances,
Oh, yeah.
all that type of stuff.
Insurance.
All of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
But we stepped into again being uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and stepping into kind of what we felt God was calling us to the next step and starting my business. And yeah, I am going on it for the second year now for 2026.
Congratulations.
Thanks, you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you just expanded your portfolio and everything with doing wedding events.
Yes. So, yeah, it's full season for weddings. Yeah. I just signed on with another gal who has her own wedding business. So I help her in like the office as well as kind of just like assist coordinating with the weddings. So yeah, that's been really fun and just really awesome to see all these different like cultural weddings and meet different people. And
Yeah.
it's fun. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, and I think it's like you're finding this flexible, system or schedule and, things that work for you and not against you.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yes. Yes. That's,
So
yeah.
it never feels too much that you know when it's time to step back because health comes first.
Definitely. Oh, yeah. Health as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think that's kind of one of the big lessons or like statements that I
Mhm.
can definitely live by just because I've seen what you do when you don't pause and
Yeah.
actually put yourself first. Um, so yeah, that's definitely been something where I say no a lot more
Yeah,
now.
I'm sure.
And there's power in it. Like, again, going back to the soft power, like
Yeah.
that is your soft power,
Yeah.
recognizing, honoring your own boundaries, where you're at, what you can take on.
So,
Um, and that was even a journey for me to even learn too,
yeah.
because I love to say yes and make people happy and whatnot, but your body, who you are, and it changes as time goes on too. Like you have to respect yourself. You
Yeah.
gotta give yourself that voice of saying, it's okay to not do that right now.
Because you can't be the go-to for everybody. Yeah. And do you have siblings?
I do.
Okay, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, you must have siblings.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am the oldest.
Okay. Okay. But you take on a lot of responsibility too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm the oldest of five.
And that must have been hard too for everybody to watch you go through.
Yeah, so some of my siblings, they didn't get to see firsthand what I was going through just because they have said
Age and
said
stuff.
age. So there is like different relationships. But my one little
Yeah.
brother in particular, he saw it full view. So I still to this day, sometimes wonder like his point of view. He's a teenager right now, so he's in the complete, yeah, he's young, but when I was going through what I went through, he was young. He was
Yeah.
little.
Those are formative years.
Yeah. And so like he always like, my sissy was sick, like that was what he experienced. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, definitely they have probably their own story
Yeah.
to share with that.
How it affects and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It changes everything about your life. So
Yeah. Relationships, all of it. It just, and again, people kind of choose how they want it to impact or help them grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going forward, what kind of, I guess, marketing, anything that you're offering right now for new clients or anything like that that you want to share?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, having a community event called Sip and Style. And it's gonna be it's a monthly event, but we're having another one April 12th.
Okay.
And then in May, we're also gonna have one. It's at Lucas Cellars in Moore Park, the winery. But yeah, that is a community event that's really just part of like style vendors. So we have custom hats, we have accessories, gonna have a color analysis. Actually, some of the girls of She's Worthy is part of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw that actually would be at that one. Yeah.
Exactly.
I might, and we might talk about doing one of my booths. Yeah.
I would love
Like,
that.
there's no reason not to. It's just,
I would love that. Totally understand that.
we'll talk.
If it aligns, you cover. Yeah.
If it aligns.
Yeah.
This is a big thing that we've been, talking about. I've been just taking a step back from clothing for,
Exactly.
we'll see. We'll see where it
You
goes.
never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like a nice, fun new event.
It is. It's very intimate,
Mhm.
cozy. You just feel welcome when you walk through those doors
Yeah.
of the winery. So yeah, it's really just bringing the community out and supporting these lovely vendors and giving them a space to just shine with their products or their services. So yeah,
Are you partnered with the wine cellar, or how did you come about this little?
yeah. So
Yeah.
so that's the other thing.
Yeah.
So when it comes to events, someone kind of just comes to me with an idea.
Really? Okay, I love
And it can be anything. It can be a vendor that's like, I want to do my own pop-up, but I don't know how or where. And I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about kind of what you're visioning, like,
Mhm.
is it a market? Is it just like a booth and you doing one-on-one service? Like kind of breaking it down.
Okay.
So I go through kind of
So
like
you
the
build
question.
relationships with
I
these
do.
vendors and businesses.
Yeah. So definitely, I feel like building a relationship
Yeah,
is first.
of course.
And so Alejandra, who does the custom hats,
Yeah.
she's part of She's Worthy.
Mhm.
She came to me and she's like, I really want to do an event, but not sure how, where.
Yeah.
And we actually did kind of like a little birthday celebration at this location.
Mhm.
And so we thought of that and we're like, oh, but they were so smooth and welcoming. Like maybe we can do it there. And so I got in contact with the owner. We talked. She loved it. She was also on board with just like community events and things like that.
Amazing.
And so it kind of just again aligned. So
Yeah.
I come in and I coordinate it. So
Love
where the
that.
vendor can just worry about their idea coming to life.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, we have to talk.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, you're the girl.
Yes. That's what I love. Like that's
Oh, man.
passion.
Yeah.
And of course the marketing goes hand in hand with it.
Yeah.
Of like creating the flyers, sending out the emails, sharing it all over social media, like groups, putting it in newspapers, like whatever it takes to just get the word out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone's looking, has an idea in their
Yeah.
business, definitely just reach out to me on Instagram or
Yeah.
email. Joyful Creations CA is Instagram, and then that's for the email as well, joyfulcreationsca@gmail.com. So
Yeah. Yeah, we will. I will tag all of it in the show notes as well, of course. Yeah.
yeah.
Is there anything? Well, actually, I wanted to ask you a little question. I like to do on the show. So, is there any soft power moment that you've had lately that you can pinpoint?
Yeah, I feel like we did throughout.
You did a couple,
autograph,
right? A couple, but if there was like a little, last week I don't know,
No,
something
totally.
that came up for you.
We come across those too. I feel
Yeah.
like it happens,
Yeah.
I would say definitely going back to kind of just the not forcing, like the alignment. Like it brings so much clarity when you're in alignment, whether it's in your relationships, your business, um, your health, all of it. It just brings clarity where you're at a peace. So definitely don't force,
Yeah.
like everything that's meant for you, it will happen. Maybe not in your timing, but
Yeah.
It can.
Or how you pictured it.
Picture
Right.
Oh yeah, completely. I did not imagine what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But there's such just fulfillment and also just like, oh wow, like I never thought about this, but look,
Yeah.
it's going good.
Yeah. I'm actually good at this. Why
Yeah.
not give it a shot? Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it's been for me lately. I'm like, okay, I'm good at building websites.
Yeah.
Why not offer this for other people? Like, why am I holding
Yeah.
myself back?
Oh yeah. Don't hold yourself back. No.
Little things that we can do for others. It's like,
Exactly.
oh, that brings a little paycheck and
Yeah.
it takes up something off of their plate. Like,
Yes.
yes.
Totally get it. Yes. And you mentioned another good point. Like it takes off something off their plate because
Yeah.
it is time consuming when it comes to like the planning of the event or the marketing aspect.
Right.
So it really is helpful when you have that team member that just has that knowledge and they can help you in that area.
And I was going to say that it's not everybody's strong suit because, yeah, I can. There's a few things I can do well, but marketing is one of the tougher ones. I'm like, I can do certain things in marketing,
Yeah.
but when it comes to like promoting or those kinds of things, getting it out there, I get like, I'm okay. I filled it, and then I'm like, I'm quiet.
Totally understand.
Everybody has their thing though, and I'm like, that's one of the things that I learned about myself in the last few weeks, where I'm like, okay, I got to start outsourcing certain things that I need, like people to do that for me.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it too.
Yes,
So I'm like,
yeah.
she's worthy or just like entrepreneurs coming together and
Yeah.
like supporting one another.
Exactly.
So yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally understand. Cause even myself, like I am so for other people, like other businesses. Myself, I still have to work on it a little bit.
Oh, it's so hard to talk about your own business, isn't it? When people ask me, "Oh, you have a podcast," that happened to me yesterday. I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's just like this little thing. Like, I kind of launched this podcast. Yeah,
So sweet.
it's definitely out there, but
At least.
very hard to promote yourself, and that's just something that it takes time to work on. Again, yeah, I'll get better at.
At least you are giving awareness to it though, of like, I'm gonna work on this.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like little by little. It may not come out
Natural.
first,
Yeah.
but little by little, you'll start
Yeah.
being like, yeah, I do.
Well, what I like to think too, it's like you're building the repetitions with anything, like something new, you have to like start putting in the reps. And that's what I kind of tell my girls because they get frustrated so easily. Like they can't do something the first time.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to do it good the first time. You think I did this good the first time I did it? You know,
Oh,
it
yeah.
took me so many times.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, that's one of those things that didn't come natural either. That I'm like, now I know and I can help others.
Oh, yeah.
Awareness to the girls.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
such a good learning because I feel like, too, like, you know, you're taught kind of failure ends it. And it's
Right.
like, no.
Move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, we have to keep trying. It's good.
Exactly. And failure is part of the process. Like, that's the only way you're going to better yourself, like trial and error, you know? So yeah, I know that's a big learning thing. Good for you teaching your girls early on.
Yeah, so many good like nuggets I feel like that we shared today.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like there's a lot of fruit in this.
So I will share everything where the listeners can find you on social. Is there anything else that you want to leave us with?
Just thank you for
Yeah.
giving me this opportunity.
Of course. I'm so happy that you were able we have rescheduled a few times until we finally have made this happen. Thank you so much for joining us today on Her Self Power. And thank you for tuning in and listening with Sarah in Joyful Creations. Don't forget to follow along with her at Joyful Creation CA. It's at Joyful Creation CA. And as always, you can follow us at Her Self Power Pod, like and share, post it on your story, share it with a friend. So that way we can get the message out there. And then we're on YouTube now. So don't forget to tune in on any of your favorite platforms, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And I'll see you guys next time.